I was actually working on this last night, and I told my wife, I said, I'm not really a 20-second guy. And she said, don't flatter yourself. So it always helps to have support at home, if you know what I mean. Okay, here's my little start, go. Ready, go. So good afternoon. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how to analyze and ultimately optimize your marketing, educational, and promotional efforts to patients. I told my wife what kind of a presentation that I was going to do today, and later on I heard my daughter saying to my wife, "Why is Dad going to do a Pikachu presentation?" For those that have little kids, you'll understand that. But I'm sure this is something totally different. I do want to start out with a humorous story, but I haven't budgeted any time for laughter. So this is the first time in my career I'm hoping that you don't find this funny. Albert Einstein's panicky teaching assistant said to him, "Dr. Einstein, are you aware that those are exactly the same questions that you used on last year's final?" "Don't worry," said Professor Einstein, "the answers have changed." Sometimes in marketing to consumers, like Professor Einstein, we believe that you should keep asking patients basic questions like, where did you get your information? Who do you trust? What are you going to do with it? Because some of these answers change over time, and that's very important to watch out and adapt to. We also believe that behavior affects media usage, and that media usage affects behavior. Almost 45 years ago, Mr. McClellan said, "The medium is the message." A mistake that we frequently see pharma make is trying to project the same audience and behaviors onto all types of media. In order to look at behavior, we're going to use a framework that we have created, which we call the influence equation. Although influence might have a negative connotation to some people, it is in fact what we're trying to do in most educational or promotional efforts. The influence equation has three components, which we're going to review now. The first component is, how easy is it to take the action that someone's trying to encourage me to do? As we know, participatory healthcare is a continuum from something very easy like get a little information, to something tougher like ask your doctor, to something that can be downright challenging for most people, such as stating a contradictory opinion to their physician. The second factor is, how credible do you find the information that is presented to you? It should be noted that this is a subjective and personal observation. Some people find information credible if it's peer-reviewed and published, while other people get healthcare information from late-night infomercials. The last factor in the influence equation is, what is your relationship with the person trying to influence you? However, in many ways, this relationship is dependent on the media of which you're interacting with. If it's face-to-face, you probably have a personal relationship. However, in most other medias, you might have a very different view of relationship. Now, in the limited time we have, we're going to run the typical pharma website and a social media effort through this influence equation to see what we can learn. In terms of the website, the intended action might be anything from a very simple learn about our product to a difficult download this physician guide and then ask your doctor all these questions while they scoff at you and make faces. So I think it's important to understand what we're really asking a patient to do in coming to these sites. It's our opinion that most pharma websites do not supply the support necessary to engage in true participatory healthcare. Our research shows that e-patients, and also physicians as a matter of fact, feel the same way about the credibility of pharma information, which is they believe this information is accurate, but they also believe it is not balanced. This would be easy to fix if someone was just a little brave. Finally, most pharma websites do not do a good job of projecting a human face. This is a mistake because it undermines any sense of personal relationship. One step in the right direction has been the use of real patient stories. In fact, 26 of the top 100 selling brands have included testimonials on their website. However, we believe that these too can be improved. Next, let's turn our attention to social media. You've heard a lot about this at the conference, and we have our own take on it and how pharma can play in the sandbox. First, it is important to note that many of the actions discussed in communities seem more doable because someone else like you has done these same actions. This is an important lesson for pharma to leverage and into both their educational and promotional efforts, and we don't think that they're doing it now, and this is a real area of improvement for them. Next, credibility is also affected by what I call the, hey, we're all in the same boat mindset. The operative behavior here is that people tend to feel that other people just like them do not have a hidden agenda. So that sometimes results in the, hey, but I read it on the internet phenomenon. So as Val said, you have to be careful where you go for the information. Lastly, I think that pharma marketers tend to underestimate the type of relationships that can be developed via social media. For God's sake, people get married based on relationships they develop on the internet. And this is my Twitterable quote, by the way. I would wager that an active e-patient has a stronger relationship with a POL than a physician has with a KOL. So what does this all mean? What do we do with this type of analysis? What are the first steps? How many more of these 20-second slides do I have to deliver? The first thing is, if you say to yourself, you're going to be patient-oriented, then you should probably swallow the very painful pill that you might not know as much about patients as you think you do. Many brands learn about patients through market research, and as the former president of a major market research company, I can tell you that you are getting only a limited view of the patient community. But I think there's a lot to celebrate here. I think that many people in this room have done a great job of advancing what we're doing already. And like they say in football, if you just keep moving your feet, I believe that all of us can find a hole to shoot through and make concrete and real connections with our patients. Thank you very much.